When I listen to Audible, I'm not cooking dinner for one. I'm on horseback, galloping across the Scottish moors towards my one true love. There, through the mist, I see my beloved, kilt flapping in the breeze. The fibers of his shirt struggle against his bulging muscles as he takes me from my horse and... my frittata!
Go to audible.com/start trial and your first download is free. Audible. Stories that surround you.
Blog Talk Radio.
You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. The latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. The latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper.
Welcome to the Bit Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Guys, we ended season 3 the other day. Today, right now, is the first episode of season 4 of the Bit Scoop with Coop. We're doing big things, guys. Make sure you tell all your family, your friends, your associates, even your haters to tune in right now live at www.blogtalkradio.com/the Bit Scoop with Coop. Make sure you check out the website also, thebitscoopwithcoop.com. You can find me on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Blueberry. If you can't find me, just Google me. But, guys, enough about me. Today's guest, all I'm going to say is wow on this one. It's an honor to have her on my show. And you're probably saying, who is her? So I'm about to get into that right now. I have a very talented director on my show today. If you're a big Lifetime fan, you've probably seen her movie already, Mother May I Sleep with Danger. She done 2 shorts. She's very educated, went to school, got her college degree and Bachelor of Arts in advertising. She has done a lot, and her record speaks for itself. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Melanie Aitkenhead. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you. How's your day today?
Oh, it's been good. You know, how's your day?
Oh man, it's been a blast. I'm gonna put it like that. And now I have you on the show, so this is great. We're opening up season 4 of the show right now. So I was telling people already that about your big movie that's actually out already. We will talk about that in a minute. But Melanie, also on this show, we always talk about how you started in your career, your success, give advice on how to get into your career, and so much more. And the people worldwide, I know they're ready to hear this also, guys. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to ask you the first question that everybody wants to know. When did you realize that you actually want to, get into the movie industry?
Yeah, it was one of those things since I was a kid. It's one of those stories that, I used to watch a lot of movies. I was, fascinated with Jurassic Park, E.T., Spielberg. And I would watch movies and just, I was, growing up in Guatemala, Central America. And I'd just be like, I want to be involved with movies. If cinema has the power, to transport me to a new world, to make me feel things I've, hadn't felt as a young kid, and to have that power to influence people, I was like, I want to be a part of that. And so I was always fascinated with movies and TV, and, I knew from early on that was my passion, my calling, and, I just had to find a way to do it. Being here in Guatemala, you didn't have that many, options as far as let me go check out that film school in the corner. Well, that film school didn't exist. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was, yeah.
And see, and I understand where you're coming from on that, because I'm in North Carolina, so I can't say, hey, let me go up the street to a film school also. So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that. It is very, when you're young and you get that ambition that you're ready to get into movies and television, it's in your head, you will do everything you can possible to actually make it to that spot, especially if it stays in your head from a child all the way up to an adult. So I want to congratulate
and I think
you
it's
for
like what you
smashing the
said
call.
is like what you were saying, Michael. It's like that, it's that passion that you have, that ambition, and what it is like it's a big ambition to have,
It really is.
as a young kid. But I mean, I was blessed that you know what I mean, because you have big ambitions, and sometimes throughout life, like when you're growing up, you're like, maybe I should focus on something else, and and I did have those advice, that advice given to me by other people, like they were like, maybe you should think of a different career, or you know what I mean. But it's just like when that there's just one thing you want to do in this world, then it's just easier to be like, no, I gotta, even if it takes me 20 years or whatever, I have to make movies.
And you see, and it's funny that you said that, because I think people that's not in this industry, they don't understand the true passion of the industry. I've been in 2 movies getting ready for my 3rd, and you got people that's out there working customer service jobs and factories and everything. They're like, no, maybe you just need to be a manager here or start off in this company here. They don't understand the true passion when you have it inside of you to do this. Just because one person don't see it, that doesn't mean it's not important for the next. So I'm glad you didn't listen to these other people, Melanie, and you scratched and clawed and you climbed your way to where you're at now. So I want to congratulate you ahead of time for knocking out the naysayers, and you're doing what you're doing well. So thank you for that. Yes. Now, like I told everybody earlier that's listening worldwide, you've actually done tremendously in this industry, and you've actually done and you wrote and directed 2 short films, if I'm not mistaken, De La Ville and Ricky's Baby. Am I correct?
Yeah, I wrote and directed Maman de la Ville and Ricky's Baby. I directed. Someone else, a friend of mine, wrote it. Yeah.
So tell everybody what both of those movies are about.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm fascinated by relationships, like romantic relationships, and what that entails, and the challenges that are faced when you're in a romantic relationship. So the first one dealt with infidelity, and not like it dealt with the jealousy of the boyfriend. She went on a trip to France, and then they come back, and the movie revolves around an argument, and basically he's trying to get her to confess that she was with another guy in France, but she wasn't with another guy. And then at the end, just because she realizes that he's not gonna stop, and that what's more important to him is to find out whether she was with someone else or not, then it is to believe in the trust in the relationship. So she decides to lie and tell him that she was with someone else, and that whoever she was with was was better than he was, and then she walks out of the apartment. So I'm fascinated with arguments between. So if you've seen the movie Closer by Mike Nichols, I love those types of movies where there's people arguing and really dealing with the insecurities that you face with a romantic partner. And then Ricky's Baby there was a couple, and she was a famous musician, and he has this car, that he loves, a Firebird, and he loves really much. And then she falls pregnant, and they don't have the means to take care of the baby or to have the baby. So then he, instead of supporting her, he suggests an abortion.
Wow.
So then the movie kind of spirals in the sense of she was hoping for him to be like, hey, I'm going to be there for you. We'll make it work. And his words are, we need to have an abortion. So then the movie revolves around, he quickly realized how, what he did. So he goes and he sells his car that he loves the most. And then it's a happy ending. Then they get back together, and we don't see when the baby's born, but, they're a happy couple.
Nice. Now, do you think there'll be any sequels to either one of these movies in the future?
I mean, I would love to do So I wrote a script that's based on Moments de Ville, which is about infidelity, and I would love to do that feature eventually. As far as Ricky's Baby, I don't think there will be a sequel.
Oh, wow.
I had to learn a lot about cars. I didn't know much about cars for that movie. Cars are,
nice. Now, as far as it goes for the industry, before I even get into that, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I just got to say congratulations again on those 2 shorts, because you're proving your work, and that's how you actually are getting into bigger and better things also that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So congratulations again, Melanie. You're doing it big, girl. You really are.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
You're
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about the movie industry for a minute or two. Now, my personal opinion, well, before I even get into my personal opinion, within the last 10 to 20 years, the movie industry has had its ups and downs, just like television and just like music. Everything has its ups and downs. But how do you feel about the movie industry within the last 10 to 20 years? Do you feel like that right now we're at an all-time high, or do you feel like that is going down on the slope again? How do you really feel about it?
Yeah, I really do think that the industry, in the past 10 to 20 years, like, it has the possibilities of, the industry has improved in my eyes, in the sense that, like, just look at TV, like the amazing, content that's being created in TV, and just how daring a lot of the series are. And I really, the ability that you can go shoot a movie with your iPhone. But you know what I mean? If you have, a good DSLR camera, you can really just go make your own short. And I really feel like, TV really has changed the industry, and for the better. And it's a steady climb. Like you said, I don't think we've quite gotten there, but I do think that, like, the industry is aware of, the gender inequality or, certain other issues. And I think it's not something that can just be fixed with a magic wand. I always try to hope for the best, and I feel like the industry, just maybe because of my experience with Mother May I Sleep with Danger, all of the key positions were women. We were all working well on set. There were nobody was being treated differently, based on their gender or their race. It was just, we were just all there trying to make, the best possible. And I feel, just because I've had that experience, I have to say I feel like the industry, is getting to a better place.
Good. And I can agree with that on an overall perspective, that it is getting to a better place. I feel that there still could be a few tweaks that could be done, and that's in any industry. But overall, it's gotten better because, people are playing more of the diversity card. And that's one thing that I do like. And they're not saying at the same time, well, you're this certain race. We're not going to actually let you do this. The door is opening slowly, more and more. And I'm actually seeing it. It is opening a little bit slow, but it's opening. Even down to the Academy Awards all the way up. So it's doing a good job, and I feel that since they're actually looking at diversity and they're giving women a chance at the same time to direct like what you're doing. And I'm going to talk about that in a few seconds. And, everybody has that chance. Now, if you're – and people that's listening worldwide, don't take this the wrong way, what I'm about to say. But even though they're opening up the doors for diversity and giving people with different sex and different genders a chance in the industry, but if you're not talented, you can't get but so far. You got to know your craft. And if you don't know your craft, you can't yell out or play the race card or play the gender card. You can't do it if you come in there blindsided. You don't know what you're doing. So people that's listening right now, if you want to get to the level where Melanie at, and a lot of other people that's been on this show in the past, and people that's listening right now that's very talented, you got to know your craft. So everybody get out there, study, learn.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you can actually get to where you want to get to. You have a better chance to. Now,
I agree with you.
Yes. Now, speaking of learning your craft, wow. Melanie, how hard was it for you when you first started? I mean, from not the part of when you was a child, but when you said, okay, I'm about to put my hands on this. I want to get in this industry. I want to kick this door down, and I want to get to where I want to get to. How hard was it for you starting as learning how to be an actor and directing? How hard was it to get to the level you're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely, you know, like with everything, like when you're starting it, everything has its challenges. I think, you know, it's one of, like when we were talking about before, having that passion, when you're so sure that that's what you want, then you just got to go full force. Then when you know, when you open the door for the first time, like the first film class, like that I took, my first class, it was a summer program at USC, and it was beginning filmmaking. And you are put in groups, and you each alternate roles, and you go out and, you know, you direct one, you produce one, you are the cinematographer on the other one. And that was amazing because I really got to learn what each position entailed and what position I was gravitating towards to more. You know, was it producing or was it directing? Like, what was it? And I quickly found, like, you know, I mean, even though before I was like, oh, I kind of knew what the director did, but I really didn't know how much until you actually, like, and you mentioned it before, like, you actually study it. So then I went to this class, and I was like, oh, I definitely, you know, I want to direct. But you quickly realize, like, you need to learn so much because the first move, you know, the first little short I did, I didn't know anything. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You didn't cut well together. I had to learn so much. Then I was like, okay, if I want to get to the level of the directors that I see, you know, in the cinema or in TV, I was like, I need to work and I need to study. So, you know, I was 23 and I was like, I got to find a way. So I also quickly knew that I needed, here's the thing, there's two sets of people. Some people think that they're like, I don't think film school is worth it. And that's great if you have the discipline to be like, well, I'm going to, you know, make 5 shorts in a year, as an example. Or I'm going to, you know, I'm going to go on YouTube and watch videos every day. Like, I'm going to self-study. If you have that discipline, then great. I knew that I would benefit from a film school. And I knew that going to USC, getting my master's at USC was going to put me to, you know, to be able to get to the level that I wanted to get in my career before entering the business. So, you know, I guess I just, you know, it had its challenges. I started USC, and then I just worked really hard, and I crewed in every position. You know, I was a PA, I was an AD, I was in all this different stuff. So then now that, you know, I mean, I'm working as a director, I understand what every people is going through and what they're doing on set. And so, yeah, to go back to your question, I think it's just I knew early on that I had to work hard and study. And, you know, USC really helped me in honing my talent because there's one thing, you know, to have talent, but talent can only take you so, you know what I mean? Talent maybe it's 10%, but the rest, you got to work hard for it, you know, and by working hard, you develop talent.
So true. So true. I'm going to mention a name to you, and I want to see how much this name means to you. James Franco. Exactly. I knew you were going to giggle off of that one. I knew you were. So,
yeah, James is the man.
How did this happen? How did this happen, though? Like, he told you he wanted you to direct, you know, Mother May I Sleep with Danger. How did you all two connect?
Yeah, okay, so we connected because while I was doing my master's at USC, you know, James teaches at USC once a year, and the faculty chooses 10 directors. And, you know, a lot of people apply for a position, but the faculty chooses 10 directors, and I was one of those 10 selected. So once you're one of those 10 selected, you get into James's class, and what his class is he gives you the opportunity to do a feature with him. But the way it works is it's not every director goes and does one feature. No, it's one feature, and there's 10 directors directing that same movie. So
wow.
It was based on his book called Actors Anonymous. So we each had 12 minutes of that film that we were directing. But obviously, because we're 10 directors on the same movie, we all have to be very involved in every creative decision. But then James also acts in this movie. So not only was, he was my professor, he also, he had 4 scenes in this movie, and 3 out of those 4 scenes I had to direct. So I really got a chance to work one-on-one with him on set. And, we worked really well together, and I was very fortunate enough that he liked my work. So then we started developing another project. And then, continued developing this project, and then he reached out a couple of months after that, and he was, I have this Lifetime movie called Mother May I Sleep with Danger. Would you be interested in directing? Now, you heard those giggles before, right?
Yes, I did.
I was, do those giggles, multiply by 100. That's how excited I was. I was like,
wow.
I was, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah. I was like, what's the story about? And he was like, it's a lesbian vampire movie. And I was hooked. I was like, yes. And so then he sent me the script. I read it in the next hour or so, and I was like, just replied yes. And then I talked on the phone, and then we started developing the story.
I'm surprised you waited an hour.
That's how we connected. So like I said, USD has really helped me.
Yes. I'm surprised you actually waited an hour. I'm surprised you, after the first 2 pages, you didn't say, yes, I'll do it, and continue to keep reading. I'm very shocked. But the thing is, you replied back.
Here's the thing. Maybe you're going to do it because, it's a lifetime. It's a huge opportunity. But you still, I still wanted to read the script, so when I talked to him, I was able to be like, okay, yeah. You know what I mean?
And that
I want
makes
to connect with the story.
Wow. Now, and here's a question I want to know. So, okay, James reached out to you and asked you to direct, and you say yes. Now, did you have to meet up with any Lifetime executives? Like, did you have to do an interview through them also?
I was really blessed that because James was vouching for me, nobody questioned it.
Nice.
So, it was amazing. I mean, James, because we had worked together, so he knew how I worked. He could vouch for me. He understood, he understood my work. So Lifetime and Sony were very supportive and very comfortable with the decision.
Wow, nice. So what do people and for the directors that's listening right now, this question is really more for them, what I'm about to ask you. When you go into a meeting, let's say Lifetime called you up and they say you did so well with Mother May I Sleep with Danger, we want you to come direct another film. But we want you to come into the office and we want to ask you, we want to get to know you a little bit better. What questions do you think they actually ask when you're inside of those type of interviews?
Yeah, I think, this is just guessing, right? Because I haven't gone through it, but I definitely think one of the most important questions would be, okay, can you shoot 7 to 8 pages a day? How fast can you shoot? Can you deliver a movie on budget or under budget? And can you get it at the schedule that, that they will make you do it for? Because, a lot of stuff is like Mother May I Sleep with Danger, we shot 15 to 16 days. So we were shooting 8 pages a day. And I think what they want to know is just that if they can trust the director to make sure they can deliver not only a good product, but a product that is going to come on budget and on schedule. Because if you go over, then you lose them a lot of money.
Right. And that makes perfect sense. That really does. And I'm glad you answered that question. That does make perfect sense. Now, what is the difference between the 1996 version and this year, 2016? for Mother May I Speak?
We revamped it completely. We, of course, kept certain elements. You know, we brought Tori Spelling and Yvonne Sergey back, and we kept, you know, little elements that if you were a fan of the original, you will notice in this remake that we kept, you know, little things like the dinner scene, you know, the relationship between the mom and the daughter. But other than that, it was a completely new story, and it was James's idea to do, you know, to do it this way, and I think it was great to be able to change it so much because, you know, we are portraying important themes, and in 1996, you know, it's a woman in peril, right? It's a woman dealing with an abusive guy, you know, and what we really liked about this revamp and the big difference is that you have stronger female characters, and you know, it's more pertinent to the times we're living, you know. They, with their sexual orientation, and then the vampires. And so I think it was a complete revamp because it was definitely warranted for the times we're living.
Okay. Well, everybody that's listening worldwide right now, make sure, 'cause I think it didn't actually air on June the 18th.
Yeah, it aired on Lifetime.
Yeah. Guys, make sure you still go to Lifetime. Look for this movie, everybody. This is a good movie that you have to see. You will see Melanie in her prime. I mean, she's directing this movie, and she has done a lot, like I said before. Everybody, make sure you check her out. Make sure you check out all of her work, and make sure you follow her so you can see everything else that's actually happened during her career. And trust me, guys, her career is not over nowhere soon. So she has still to have a lot to go, a lot to do. And once again, I congratulate her for everything she's done. She's made a hit on Lifetime, and she's actually still doing big things. Now, what was it like behind the scenes of Mother May I Sleep with Danger? How was the atmosphere with the cast and the crew?
Yeah, it was so great. It was, you know, going back to what I was mentioning before, it was Lifetime is very supportive of their, you know, the Fempire and what they're trying, you know, what they're building. The Fempire, you know, an empowering woman in front of the camera and behind the camera. And also, you know, James really brings a great vibe to the set. And, you know, the network, the studio, the crew, everybody that was working there, we were working, you know, a lot of nights during the holidays. We were shooting in cemetery. It was really cold in Los Angeles. But everybody was such a team player and really working together to make the best movie possible. There were no, you know, again, like going back to James giving me this opportunity, there were no, like, nobody was second-guessing you. You know, everybody was just, because it's such a fun movie, everybody was just having a great time doing it.
Nice.
So really, yeah, love how Lifetime was so supportive and how, like I said, every key position was a woman. So it really felt like we were doing something special.
Nice. Now, how was it like working with Tori Spelling? What was that like?
You know, I had the privilege of working with Tori Spelling, and we've talked about, you know, hopefully, you know, doing another movie together because she's just such a kind-spirited person. She's very humble, hard worker, and, you know, she likes to talk about her character. She listens to the director's idea, but she also comes with good ideas about her own character, and I thought she was just such a joy to work with. She brought her daughter to set one day, and she's so lovely. You know, such a great mother and a great artist. So I would be, you know, of course, honored to work with her again.
Cool. Big shout-outs to Tori Spelling. If you're listening right now, big shout-outs to you. Tori, I'm still thinking of you of the 90210 days. I'm sorry, you're not going to ever grow up in my head. You're always going to be a teenager in my head. So when I see you in this movie and see you in different movies and everything, and you're an adult, you're supposed to be on the beach running around with Dylan and all them other guys. I mean, I'm sorry, you're going to be the teenager to me. But But for real though, I like what you're doing, Tori. Big shout outs to you. Keep doing what you're doing also. Melanie, you are, I mean, it's amazing on your story from a childhood all the way up, and you're doing a lot of different things. And talking about different things, can you tell everyone about the movie Actors Anonymous?
Yeah. Actors Anonymous was the first movie that I did, that I worked with James, and that's how I met James. And that's the movie that we did through USC, and it has 10, different directors, and it's about, it's a side of Hollywood that it's not, sometimes people think of Hollywood, the red carpet and the glamorous side, but behind all that, there's people that are really trying to make it, and it follows two actors who are trying to make it in Hollywood, the ups and the downs, the heartbreak, and it's not an easy town to make it, especially as an actor. So the good thing about Actors Anonymous is we really portrayed the other side of Hollywood that is rarely seen. And James Franco plays Jake Lamont, he plays like the famous actor in Hollywood in the movie. Mm-hmm. And the movie is based on the novel that James wrote by the same title, Actors Anonymous.
Cool. All right. Everybody make sure you find it. Yes. I like it. I like your work. Thank you for everything. How can your fans find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm at Mel Aitkenhead. That's Instagram, and I'm at Mel 8Key. So my last name cut in half, 8Key, at Twitter. Got you.
Everybody, make sure you follow Melanie. You have to, man. Amazing things that she's doing. Follow her career, and she's going to tell the story on social media through the pictures and her tweets and everything. Mm-hmm. Now, do you feel that social media is a big, important deal for today's time in the industry?
It's funny. I think it definitely is, but I also think there's, I think the most important, if you're if you're an artist, if you're a director, if you're an actor, whatever it is you do that you want to try to make it in Hollywood, I think it's some people put all their power on social media, and truly so, in the sense that like you are hearing more and more the cases where like studios are like, well, what's the social media presence on this actor? And if the presence is bigger than the other actor, they're most likely are going to go with the one that has a bigger presence in social media. But that being said, social media is like a whole other world where you want to spend most of your time creating art and working on your craft. And then you can post on social media. But if you make social media become your only tool to get yourself out there, then I do feel like your work is lacking. So I feel like it's important to use social media to have a presence, to we post a lot of pictures from behind the scenes from the movie, or ways to promote the movie or to promote ourselves. But I do think that I see a lot of artists in Hollywood spending too much time on social media, and I feel like the most important thing is to spend time working on your craft.
Amen. I agree with that. I definitely do. I had that talk with a certain person. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've tried to talk with a certain person about that also for the last couple of days, so I definitely agree with you. Melanie, I know you're a busy person, so I'm not going to hold you up much longer, but what is your ultimate goal as a movie director?
Yeah, I think ultimate goal is a very, it's a strong word, and ultimate being I think more importantly, rather than an ultimate goal, I think it's there are many goals that I have, and just to keep making movies and movies. So I had a goal this year to do another feature. I'm going to be doing another feature in a month. So then keep tackling those goals one by one, rather than having a one ultimate goal. Most importantly, because if I have just one ultimate goal, I feel like I'll always be thinking or working towards that moment in time that's in the future, rather than be focused on the present and be like, okay, what's the goal that I'm tackling now? And so I try to not have one ultimate goal. I think I have many goals, and the many goals that I have are to keep creating content. And if I can keep creating content, whether it be in features or whether it be in TV movies or episodic, then I'm accomplishing those goals, and I'm happy and blessed.
I love that answer. And Melanie, what advice would you give any male or female that wants to come into the movie industry or television industry as a director or actor, or they just want to get their foot in the door? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, there's this book. It's called Mindset, and the advice I would give is, this book talks about growth mindset and fixed mindset, and you need to have a growth mindset. Growth mindset meaning that you don't, sometimes we're in society we're told that like you either have it or you don't have it, right? Once you start in an industry, you will say you will go do your first movie, but if your movie doesn't do that well, then you immediately equate the failure. You take it personal and you equate it with I'm not good. I should focus on something else. And that's a fixed mindset. And what you need to cultivate is a growth mindset in the sense of like, oh, I did this movie, well, let me do another one, and another one, and another one. And sure enough, once you've done, 20 or something, or maybe 5, people will start hiring you for what you're doing, but only because you keep focusing on your art. And don't, and understand that, like Picasso didn't just grab a canvas, right, and started painting, and he was Picasso. No, he worked for years, and then he became Picasso. So whoever wants to get into this industry, everybody, I really feel like everybody can make it if you have a strong work ethic and understand that you're not going to get the Oscar-winning movie on your first feature. So you just got to keep popping them up.
Nice. Melanie, I want to say thank you again for coming on the show. I would love to have you back on the show in the future. I would definitely love
Thank you, Michael. It's been great talking to you, and it would be an honor to be back on your show in the future, hopefully.
All right, guys. I hope everybody got an earful off of this. Make sure you take all the advice that Melanie just said. If you're trying to get into this industry, follow her. Instagram, Twitter. Keep up with her. Check out Mother May I Sleep with Danger. Try to find everything on Melanie. I'm telling you guys, you will love what you'll see. Well, guys, that's the end of episode 1, season 4 of the Bit Scoop with Coop. For Melanie and myself, until next time, everybody.
Thank you.